Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Around the 412 Fantasy Football Show, where it is not easy to be green, but we do it anyway. I'm your host, Shrek, in the swamp. We're going to let all y'all in here today. And with me, as always, is Dr. Drew Hannis. Drew, how we doing? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, my guy. First year where I get to walk around with my son, so I'm super psyched.
Yeah.
Kid's known as Mickey Mouse.
Nice.
Favorite character of everything, just always Mickey Mouse. So we walked into the Spirit Halloween. We're like, just pick it. He literally walks right up to points and grabs it. We're just in and out 5 minutes.
Excellent. Nice. Yeah. Let me just tell you, I also went to Spirit Halloween to find this beautiful bald cap. You know how hard it is to find a non-latex bald cap? It's very difficult.
What is it? What's it made out of?
It's made out of vinyl.
Oh. So are you allergic to latex? Is that why you didn't want to get that? Or
yes.
Or you just didn't want to look like a condom?
No, I know. My whole face would be swollen.
Oh, really?
I made a balloon arch for my sister's bridal party or whatever, bridal shower, and I was all hived up and stuff. It was crazy.
That would have been perfect for Halloween though, because you're trying to scare people.
Yeah. Speaking of scary things, injuries are never a fun topic, but Drew will hold it down and make sure that we have all the info. So, Drew, you got the lab coat on for real. So, what can you do for us on the injury front?
A few injuries here to talk about. Nothing overly crazy besides one. We can start with that one right off the bat. But Cam Scattaboo, obviously fractured his ankle, dislocated his ankle. Done for the season. It was actually pretty cool to see how the Philly faithful actually treat him coming off the field, because usually they're kind of assholes with everything related to other teams. But Big Dom showed up in the hospital, brought him some food and stuff. Good on them. But this is a tough one. Cam Scattaboo is just he's just a really likable player. He came into the league, everybody was kind of doubting him. I know, Joe, you weren't too big of a fan of him. I was kind of lukewarm. Yeah, I was lukewarm, just depending on if I was in dynasty leagues, where I get him at. But I don't have any shares of him, obviously. It didn't fall that way. Besides in life, where I actually had a shot at him and that Eddie shockingly took him, which kind of sucked. They tried to trade up, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, he's going to be out for the season. It sounds like he should be good for off-season workouts next year. I wouldn't be too concerned about his long-term dynasty value. Tyrone Tracy's going to step in. Obviously, we've seen what he can do when he's given the full workload. Devin Singletary might eat into it a little bit. He's probably a low RB2, mid to high flex play, but I don't particularly see myself having him in too many lineups for where I do have him. It's just kind of grab him on waivers. You never know. Maybe he'll get enough volume, but it's not really something I'm overly excited about. I know some people were blowing out the fab and saying he could be the waiver of the year, given the fact that it's kind of been a cheap waiver year where it's just not a lot of huge impact players are coming out of nowhere. Benson could have been in, then he got hurt, and then
I mean, the thing too is that there's just been so many running back injuries as well that I feel like people are grasping at the straws for a solid RB2.
Yeah. So it makes sense to roster him if you have him. He's probably matchup dependent though. See how it goes. This next one I'll wait till later on in the show. Obviously, you know why we'll do that. But Quinshon Judkins also suffered a shoulder injury. It sounds like he's okay. I think that he just didn't come back into the game because they were getting blown out.
And you have the bye next this week.
Exactly.
So why mess with it?
Yeah, I think that he'll be back normal without any limitations. Joe Flacco popped up on the report today with an AC joint sprain. I don't think he's going to play.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play. Just based on the stuff that I was reading, I just don't think that he's going to play. I'm assuming that it's his throwing shoulder, given the fact that he's at a pretty big risk of playing. I mean, he's up there in age. Obviously, his pain tolerance might be a little less than what a guy in his late 20s, early 30s is. It just doesn't seem good for their situation. I don't think he's going to play. We'll see. Obviously, we know what that does to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins' fantasy value if Jake Browning does come back in. Wouldn't it be something if he came back in and was good though, and then Flacco just doesn't come back into the game? Doesn't play anymore. That would be wild, but I don't see it happening.
It would be wild. I don't see that either.
It's just wild. I picked up Browning in a couple leagues. Never know. Obviously, I'm probably gonna try to trade him, but whoever's desperate. Everybody's desperate in these two QB dynasty leagues, but I don't think he's going to play. We'll see though. Same with Luther Burden, who suffered a concussion. Obviously, we know how the protocol is. We'll see if he starts to practice on Friday. Maybe you'll see him in the lineup. But as a rookie, I feel like he's not one of those guys they're going to give a longer leash to. Like, you get the Saturday and like, okay, he has to practice all week, but he's a veteran. We can get him out of the field. Luther Burden being a rookie. I don't think he's going to play. And then finally, the last one that I have until the one later on, Terry McLaurin. This one kind of came out of nowhere. He had
I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw it today.
Yeah. Had a solid game on Monday night. I actually went into Monday night. Me and Sarge were tied at 117. He had Deebo Samuel and I had Terry McLaurin, so I lucked out on that one. I didn't feel good about it considering his first game back, but
yeah,
he re-aggravated his quad, so I expect him to miss some time. Obviously, he missed 3 weeks prior to this, so like
yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, it's a good thing that he waited and got the money. But sheesh, man, it's crazy. Like, if you go into the season, like what you're expecting, like before the holdout and all that, it's like, all right, all signs. You have Washington all in. They add Deebo. They bring in all these pieces. Now you've had all the injuries to so many big players on that team, including Jaden Daniels. And now, I mean, looking at like our charts, they're the worst defense in football right now in the last 3 weeks. Like, they are really struggling. And like, I didn't expect that. I thought, regardless of everything that was going on in the offense, the defense would be able to hold it down a little bit, but they're just bleeding from all sides right now.
Yeah, they're a team that you definitely should be targeting. I thought about them in OnlyFantasy for Sam Darnold. Decided not to go with him, but week to week, you could definitely start quarterbacks against them. Definitely start wide receivers.
Yeah.
And running backs. Like, they're a bad defense, and I mean, they've been bad over the last several years. Like, their secondary has been suspect for a while.
Right.
But yeah, it's getting really bad again. I'm just laughing at it just popped on my phone because someone texted me the Jordan Schultz report where the Steelers are looking for any defensive help, just anything possible they can get.
I mean, they should be.
It just sounds so sad. Like, just whatever we can get, we'll give you whatever we can give.
We need it. They need to bring Hannes back, man. It's time.
I told you, they called me, and I was just like, the defense is old, but I'm already too old. So it's just going in the wrong direction. You're going to bring that average up for average age.
Maybe the Penguins are more your speed then, because they love all the old guys.
What's the deal with I was actually texting Zach about it, but like, I keep seeing Brazzers all over the place. I was like, what the hell are you doing at home right now?
He is a second line winger who has just been on a heater for the Penguins all season, pretty much. So anytime that he scores, it's Justin Brazeau, but anytime he scores, it's just like the whole feed is just like Brazzers.
There's so many people just subscribing to that website.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Good for them.
Well, we can transition, but Lamar's obviously going to play this week. We'll see what Michael Penix is up to with his knee bruise. But if Michael Penix doesn't play, are you worried about playing any of the Falcons players with Kirk? Because
I'm worried about everyone. And then he had the audacity after the game to be like, I'm looking for an opportunity to be a starter. And it was like, you did not play like that, my friend.
I cooked him online, and someone was just like, is he better than Carson Wentz? I was like, no.
And that's like Carson Wentz with the shoulder injury.
I know. Which his injury was insane.
I can't believe that they had him play that full game. Like, that was actually disgusting, especially because Kevin O'Connell has been talking all of this game about like how you have to look out for players and how players don't fail coaches. Coaches fail.
I respect Carson though, because like he doesn't know when he's going to get back on the field, so he literally put it all out there.
For sure. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, it's the duty of the coach to protect that player. And then you have Herb Street, who did like an entire funeral for his dog and like was all emotional about that. And you have a dude that's getting like body slammed on a broken shoulder. He's like, he needs to man up. Like, da, da, da. It's like, you can't have it both ways, my guy.
His shoulder was like literally out of its socket, just like,
yeah.
And he's just still throwing the ball downfield. It was crazy.
Garbage.
But yeah, that's all I got for injuries until I'll notate one later on in the show when we get to a certain.
All right, so transitioning over to our headlines for the week. Big change over in New Orleans. Second-round pick Tyler Shuck taking over for the New Orleans Saints. A little bit disappointed as a whole for that offense. Spencer Rattler at one point was considered to be an elite quarterback prospect when he was at Oklahoma. Things kind of fell apart for him a bit in college and hasn't really been able to string it together. He went 0-10 in his first 10 starts in the league. Finally got one here in the last couple weeks, but 6 turnovers in the last couple of games here just wasn't really panning out for him. So they're seeing what they got in their second round guy. Drew, what do you think the impact is going to be for this Saints offense? Do you think this is a good move for them? Do you think this is a negative thing for them? Where do you sit?
From a fantasy perspective, I actually do think that this is going to be a downgrade. I wasn't very impressed with what he was showing when he came in the second half. They have a tough matchup this week against the Rams. And Rattler, I feel like last week, maybe the week before, he wasn't really playing well the last couple weeks, but I thought that he was actually playing well for most of the season. The team is just terrible, but he was getting Chris Olave the ball a ton. Juwan Johnson was getting the ball. Alvin Kamara has been a major disappointment.
Huge disappointment. Well, I think what's interesting about that offense, and if you look, Alvin Kamara is open all the time, but they are playing a very vertical game, which I didn't expect. I thought there was going to be a lot more like PPR merchant dump offs. We're going to hit Chris Olave just in a crossing routes. We're going to hit Kamara in the flat out of the backfield. No, they are launching.
It's because they're always down. So they need to have chunk plays more so than anything because just dump offs isn't going to get them to where they need to go. They can't
right,
stop.
But you would think even early in the games that you would want to have almost it's basically your running game where you're kind of eating clock, doing all this so that you're preventing how fast you lose that lead or it's just
they
weird.
Just been getting down so fast. I mean, some of the games they were in it, but a lot of the time I feel like it's 21-0 like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. I don't mind it for Olave. He played about a quarter and a half last week. Olave had 6 targets, so I think he will continue to see the shine.
It's just a target.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that Olave, if you're thinking about lineup construction, he's your high floor guy. He's going to have the games where, he had the 2 touchdowns a couple weeks ago, but he's your 10 points, set it and forget it, solid wide receiver 2 who maybe pops off when he has a touchdown. So, I'm cool with that. I don't feel good about it for Shaheed. I don't feel great about it. I don't think it changes anything for Kamara.
Shaheed's not going to stay in a week. There's just no way.
No. And then Johnson, I don't really feel like he's startable either. The one player that it does make things interesting for is, do you think that Kellen Moore gets desperate enough to start doing more with Taysom Hill? It doesn't seem like his kind of a thing, but there may become a point where that does happen, but we'll see. And I feel like I know the answer to this question already, but there's not a scenario that you would be picking Shuck up to play.
No. I mean, he's only being started in 2 QB leagues where you're just desperate. And that's
got to be bye week sort of situation because he doesn't really offer any rushing upside. I mean, I had to play Rattler because he was the only quarterback I had available in one
That's
league.
what I mean. There's going to be situations like that.
I would have been better off not playing him. He put up a negative.
Yeah, last week you texted me at 10 a.m. on Sunday. You're like, "Are you really going to make me trade for one of these quarterbacks?" Because you were desperate as crazy. And I started Kirk, you started Andy Dalton, and it literally hurt us.
Right.
and I knew I was I'm not even going to trade rape this dude. Just give me your 5th round pick that doesn't even matter, and I'll just throw a dart at some random guy in the draft next year for fun.
Yeah, it was brutal. Because I had Bryce Young was hurt. Michael Penix, they said on Saturday that he was out, and I was like, okay. And then I think someone else I had on bye as well. So it was great. Okay, cool. But didn't matter.
They're going to be in that situation. I'm actually pretty sure I play Zach this week, and I think that he has to play Tyler Shuck.
Yeah. That sucks. All right. So one other headline that we have is that there is sources out there saying that the Patriots are looking for outside help at running back. How are you feeling about TreVeyon Henderson? And what is this dude? How many fumbles is he going to have in order to be able to have a chance of being on the team? I mean, I think he had 7 carries for 70 yards last week. And now they're
he fumbled in the red zone.
Which is that should have given him more playing time according to the rules.
The thing that's really concerning is it's not just sources, it's a named source that's super reliable with their team, someone that knows what the hell's going on. There's something there that Mike Vrabel just doesn't like TreVeyon Henderson. And how did he not realize this prior to the draft? I think that there's a scenario. This could be crazy, but like I've read it, and there's other people who think this. He might not be on the team next year. It's that bad at this point.
Crazy. That would be crazy, especially because that was like the 36th pick in the draft. It wasn't like some like 4th, 5th round guy that people got like charged up about.
And he's a good dude. It's not like he has off the field issues.
No, and even in all of this, he's talking about like, oh, when it was with Judkins, like I was like open to it, whatever. Like I'm super cool with whatever they want me to do. Like all reports have been like glowing about how he's handling this situation. It's just astonishing that this is happening. It's like if you were gonna not use him or you didn't like him to that degree, why draft him with that capital? Especially when you were such a wide receiver hungry team, and there was so many wide receivers in that range that they passed up on. It's just shocking to me.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is like Jamar Chase's rookie year where he just came into camp and everybody was like, oh, he can't catch the ball. He's like, he has the yips, going to drop, and then he just comes out and just balls out. It's just one of these days where I hope there's just like something just changes. It actually looked like it was last week where that was going to happen.
I thought so too. I thought that he was having that momentum, and no, they came out this week and like it's super.
And Ramondre Stevenson popped up in the report today with a toe injury too, so that's something to.
Well, they said that he didn't miss practice because of the toe.
I thought I just read that he did, but that also came.
No, he did miss practice, but they said he has a toe thing, but that's not why he missed practice. It was like very cryptic. I don't know. It's weird. VA Steelers fan 2006 also had to play Dalton and Kirk in 2 different leagues, so that's tough for you, my friend. Daniel's out. Murray and Darnold on bye. I mean, yeah, it's just not. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. But Drew, let me tell you what is fun. Fantasy football Tinder. Let's pivot over. If you haven't been on the show, watch the show. If you've been living under the rock for like 3 years now, we do Fantasy Football Tinder every week. On this segment of the show, we are trying to talk through all of the big fantasy news, highlights, whatever you want to call it, and just kind of get a little bit of a feel for what people are into. So let me just start off with a little bit of an example here. So this is our boy Zach. We want Zach to use his prediction powers to get the Steelers a win on Sunday. If you weren't aware, Zach essentially had called the Kyle Duggar news like 3 days before it happened. So Zach, I'm counting on you the next couple days. Find a way to predict us into a win against the Colts. Will shock the world. So people are like, yeah, like that's totally possible. I believe in these kinds of things. We're going to swipe right. You'll see that with the green hearts on the screen. And if you're saying like, hey, absolutely not, like these dudes are trash, like there's no way they're going to hold it down against the best team in the league, we'll swipe left. You'll see that with the red X's on the screen. So Drew, let's start in Cincinnati. We've got Chase Brown. It's kind of come to life since Joe Flacco's been with the Bengals. I know you mentioned that he may not be playing this week, but people were pretty upset. They saw him as like a 2nd round, 3rd round pick this year. They saw the massive workload that he had last season, and people were saying like, hey, like, where is this? What's happening here? America voted. It's a split 50-50, so guide the country on whether or not they can take off the brown paper Chase Brown bag off their head and put this guy back into their lineups.
My analysis is essentially 50-50 too. It's kind of wild. I'm going to start with the bad. You kind of already started to allude to it. Part of what was supposed to be good, but his snap share's down. Samaje Perine has been eating into that. He hasn't had over 70% since week 4, and the highest was 63% of the snaps. Brown has less than 11 carries in all but 1 game since week 2. Another major red flag. Only has 1 game with more than 4 targets since week 3, and has only scored in 2 games this season. So, like, there's a lot of negative. But I actually ended up swiping right. And the reason I swipe right is I feel like the running game has been better. The threat of Joe Flacco has kind of eased some defenses off of the stack boxes that he was facing. He does have more good matchups, in my opinion, rest away than he does bad. I feel like he has 4 like smash matchups the rest of the way, the Steelers being one of them. They have some 3 middling matchups and only 2 like really bad ones that they're not falling into the playoffs or anything. So I probably just try to find a better option there if you have it. But he has back-to-back games with over 100 total yards, both with Joe Flacco. He's getting majority of the red zone carries, which I like a lot. And the big thing for me is that their defense is horrible. So, like, they're going to continue to be giving up 30 points a game, and they're going to have to get these guys involved. And I just ultimately think that he's going to get enough work that he's going to be a solid RB2. I think that his ceiling is a lot lower than what people thought, and that's why a lot of people are upset about it.
Yeah.
But given the state of like the position, all the injuries that we've had this year to like all positions, not even just running back, just if you can have a solid floor of an RB2, it gets you maybe like 10 to 15 points a week. I'll take that. And I'm going to swipe right because I think that Chase Brown can ultimately give you that. I'm worried that he's not going to give you smash plays. But
yeah, you know what's hilarious? So VA Steelers fans Tyler, there's just like it's bugged. It's not like showing his name.
Oh, that's Burnley?
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, it is what it is.
He mentioned the Flacco thing. I was talking about that. I personally don't think he's going to play. I mean, the Bears are a great matchup, though, so I'm not really worried about that this week. I think that he can stay off of.
I don't know about that. I feel like
they've been better. I feel like, but I still think overall they're not very good. Like they're basically like living and dying by the turnover, and if they don't get them,
hey, it's only weird if it doesn't work, right? But I mean, the Bengals are a team that would be a good fit for that kind of approach. But I'm with you, Drew. I'm also swiping right. So you hit a couple of the things that I found interesting. A couple other points to note. Something that like worried me a little bit. So I looked at the 3 games before the Flacco trade, post Joe Burrow. Chase Brown's expected fantasy points per game was 13.7. With Flacco, it's actually decreased to 12 points per game. That puts him at running back 21 over that time span. So low end running back 2, but his actual fantasy points per game, 15.5. Now, here's the reason why I'm swiping right on Chase Brown. In those 3 games without Flacco, and if Flacco doesn't play, Chase Brown's going to be a sit for me, and here's why. Yards before contact in the 3 games without Flacco and Jake Browning, 0.86, and he averaged 2.5 yards per carry. With Flacco in the lineup, yards before contact was 3.13, and the yards per carry was 6.97. So Joe Flacco gets enough respect from these defenses to allow Chase Brown to get up the field more than a half a step, and that's doing a big thing for his game. If we're looking at like the expected fantasy points, you don't win because you have expected fantasy points, but he's right in that range of say like Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Breece Hall. So I mean, in that sort of aspect, I can live with that. Yeah. I'm fine with that being an RB2. It's going to be the high floor play that we're going with. Like you said, Pirine, he is taking that snap share. I think Pirine is a priority stash. He's not somebody that you need to grab on waivers, but if he's sitting out there in your leagues right now, definitely pick him up. He's getting good targets. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind going for it. He had over 100 yards a week or 2 ago, so I think that's a big thing there. But, yeah, I mean, things are looking up for Chase Brown, but if Flacco doesn't play this week, you can't play him. I don't see a scenario where it's going to go well with Browning. I don't think he magically figures out how to turn it on.
Yeah, it's just if you can get by sitting him. I mean, there are 4 teams on bye, all of which have fantasy relevant running backs that you're going to play. Like,
sure.
If you don't have Judkins, you don't have Breece Hall, you don't have Saquon, Rashad White. Obviously, Bucky's been out, but like that's 4 main teams that you're playing those running backs. So like it might be tough to sit them, but like in your flex, you're trying to go wide receiver anyways. So
especially in PPR, yeah.
Yeah. So
cool. All right, so let's jump into our second fantasy football Tinder. I would say that we're a week late on this conversation, but I think it still needs to be had. But Orande Gadsden, Big O, out in the Los Angeles area. Maybe the hottest thing going on in Los Angeles right now. Screw the Dodgers. I hope they lose tonight. But this guy's been taking the world by storm. Last couple of weeks, been putting up some huge numbers, especially in these last 2. Drew, how are you feeling about it? Is it all things go for Big O, or do you think that this is just a flash in the pan, akin to what we saw at the beginning of the season for Quentin Johnson?
Yeah. I'm going to start with the bad on this one. The main thing that you can argue against Orande Gadsden is that there's just so many mouths to feed in that offense. Week 17 and 18, they have the 2 toughest matchups that you can have for a receiver in fantasy football. They have the Texans and the Broncos, which is tough. But luckily with the Broncos, I think that might be an upgrade for Orande Gadsden because he's not going to be working on the outside and have to deal with a lot of those guys. There's just so much good, though, that I'm going to swipe right. He's top 3 in targets among tight ends over the last 3 weeks, playing over 75% of the snaps, running routes on nearly 80% of his snaps, getting targeted a lot in the red zone. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Darren Waller a few weeks ago. He has 6 red zone targets in 3 weeks, and he's converting on those targets. Great in 65 receiving yards the last 3 weeks. The main thing for me outside the schedule is that they're throwing the ball so friggin' much. Like it's just crazy to think about. Like everyone for years has just been talking about the Chargers as a run first team. Like Herbert is first in the NFL in passing attempts, somehow ahead of Dak. Like that was enough for me. They're going to be able to support these guys. It's just that you're going to have to deal with the occasional down week. You're never going to know what it is. So you're going to play Gadsden. You're not going to think twice about it. But don't be surprised when there's like a dud week where he might give you 5 or 6 points. But that doesn't bother me because that's the nature of the tight end position anyways.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have that ceiling that you're getting with Gadsden, just deal with the off weeks from time to time if they decide to get other guys involved.
Yeah, the splits are pretty nuts. If you look, the Chargers have the most snaps in the league. They're third in pass percentage at 65.4. If you look at the teams around them, all teams that are struggling right now, that are forced to throw because of game script, the Bengals, the Titans, Cardinals, Vikings, Saints, Browns, Jaguars, and then you got the Chiefs, which I mean makes sense. Cowboys make sense, but regardless of situation, regardless of first half, second half, whatever, inside the 10, inside the 20, even when they're up by 7 or more points, they're throwing the ball more than 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Like they do not care.
Yeah.
In a neutral situation, 65.2%. If they're trailing by 7, 81.3% passing the ball. Like, I think going into this year, everybody was like, oh, Roman offense, Harbaugh offense, they're going to run. They got the first round running back. But no.
Because they've always been doing that.
They've always done that. But they realized that they have a dog back there who's healthy, and they're letting them work, and it's been great. So yeah, it's been a real surprise. But I think there's a lot of people in the industry and a lot of people, they haven't shaken that stereotype of that offense, and they think that things are going to fade. The Chargers have very much shown what they're doing this year. And unless Herbert gets banged up, this isn't going to change when Hampton comes back. They're throwing the ball no matter what.
So, yeah, Jeff Kirby here, right hand up. I missed out on this. I have one share of Orande Gadsden. Like, we talked about this. I had him in this preseason as a guy I was like target. I had him on a few rosters, but like it just didn't happen for so long that he ended up being a casualty on my rosters. And I don't have like barely any shares of him. So like it kind of sucks. But if you have him, I think you throw him in your lineup and just deal with the ups and downs. So I think that the ups are going to be very up and the downs are just going to be like normal tight end week. So it doesn't really hurt you. It's just kind of an expectation anyways.
Yeah. All right. So I missed your swipe. I was just enjoying the vibes, but I'm going to swipe right with you. So if you look at the last 3 weeks, Gadsden's leading the Chargers in yards per route run, red zone targets, and yak. He's currently operating as the third target, but he's averaging 7 targets a game. That's 65%. The big thing is, can it be sustained? We saw this with the beginning of the season. Ladd had kind of fallen off a bit, and people were like, oh, man, he's a bust, like all this and that. Ladd is now becoming, again, what we expected Ladd to be. QJ is fallen off the map exceptionally hard, so I hope that you sold high on him if you had the opportunity. I don't want to say I told you so, but I never believed that this was going to be a real thing. I do think that he will still have his games. I do think that he is going to have a role on that team, but it is going to be very boom or bust. To me, QJ now sits in that Jamison Williams, Rashid Shaheed. He may not command the targets, but he could pop off for the big play here and there. But I don't know when to play them because it's not consistent enough.
They all might be like that. It's just that it could just be stretches. Like Ladd could go back to being exactly like that in 3 weeks for all.
But even when Ladd was not being like third round pick Ladd, he was still getting 7 targets a game, was still putting up points. Like QJ has been goosing it up.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he had the biggest game I think this year against Patrick Surtain.
Right.
Like he looked matchup proof,
right?
It went away, and it's just who knows. I feel like he's going to have his games though, like you said, and I feel like Orande Gadsden's going to have games where he's not going to be a good starter, but like because of the nature of the position, I couldn't care less because I just feel like no matter what you're dealing with that, like Tucker Kraft had 2 weeks where he was below average, and then he comes back and he pops off against the Steelers. Like it's just
as you should. I am absolutely terrified of Tyler Warren this week.
Yeah, and then we have Orande Gadsden in a few weeks too.
God bless. Yeah, trade Gadsden after the Steeler game. You could probably get Trey McBride and a piece because people are going to be so bricked up about it.
Zane and I will be in the building this weekend, and what I will say is that my wife is 5-0 in that stadium. So
you might have to.
Hopefully, she can keep the vibes.
They're going to bring you down from halftime and have you cover Warren in the second half.
Honestly, I'll play. Just give me help. Not even playing. I would be on the ground so much, but like Darius Slay doesn't even try to tackle. At least I'll go up there and get thrown.
Yeah. So I don't know what's up with YouTube today because these are definitely names that I know, but we're getting some questions here. So thoughts on Hampton rest of the season? Feel like he won't be in much, especially with how Vidal has played. Got offered Judkins for Hampton and Sharps.
I don't know when he's going to be back. That's the main thing for me. I don't think that he's close.
They are very cryptic about this injury. Like they're like, oh, like he's progressing. Personally, I think Judkins is better than Hampton and Sharps is whatever for me. So I think this is a smash accept. But I do think that when he does come back, that Hampton is going to retain his role. Kamani Vidal is just a guy to me.
I think that Vidal's going to eat into it. Because of what Harbaugh said today, which you probably just missed because you were driving, but he really dapped up Vidal. Like he's very impressive with his role. It's not going to be a lot, right? But he's coming off a significant high ankle sprain. I feel like Vidal have a role all year just because of that, right? Like they don't want to see that resurface.
Yeah, and he said that running backs are Achane, Brees, Swift, Hampton, Sharps, Brashad. For me, as an RB4, absolutely.
It's a smash accept because why not take a guy that's going to play be around for Hampton? Like there's just unless it's a dynasty league, of course. Like I think Hampton's long-term value because
I think Nino's primarily been redraft questions.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that I love Judkins. Like you know that I was a Judkins supporter. I have him in all my dynasty leagues. But the Browns offense is not the Chargers offense. So like I can love the player, but like realistically.
Sure, yeah, but I mean I don't know. It's just Judkins is the bell cow. I'll always take the bell cow.
I'm just saying in Dynasty.
Oh, Dynasty. Yeah. I hear
in redraft right now, it's a smash accept because you might not see Hampton for 3 weeks, 4 weeks yet. We don't know.
Yeah, right. It's just redraft for sure.
Yeah.
He said, would you rather it be Sharps or JCM to give away in that deal? So Bill or Charbonnet, who would be the other piece?
Sharps is like, you know what I mean?
The only thing, though, is that Bill, like that offense right now in Washington is bugged.
And they have to be leading for him to be
right. They are still going to – I would rather it be Bill because Charbonnet is an injury away from being the bell cow. You just can't play him right now. You're basically just waiting for one of those two to get hurt.
I see your point. I just don't think that he's good. That's the thing. Like his efficiency's so bad. Like I don't know
if Bill is good either. He had that 20-point game and he's done absolutely nothing with it. At least Charbonnet will fall into the end zone every once in a while.
The Commanders have to be leading or else he's irrelevant because there's like this weird like group of guys like Derrick Henry, Judkins. Bill, like they offer nothing in the passing game. So like if your team isn't winning, you're not good. Judkins obviously has at least performed very efficiently as a runner, but like these teams they phase them out if they're not winning. So it's
Tyler said the reason that all this happened is because he traded for Bill. That's hilarious.
It's just a coincidence, my guy. Because it was like
it's a coincidence that happens too often though.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so another Judkins trade. Judkins for Scatabo in a 2027 first.
I just love Judkins, dude.
But here's the thing. So, obviously, because these two played well, I would feel a lot worse about this trade before Scatabo's ankle fell off.
Right. It's
Before
also depends on what your team looks like, because you want to wait for that first. I love 2027 first round picks. Like I want as many of them as I can. But like if you're competitive, I'd rather have Judkins, obviously, even if Scatterboo was healthy.
Because I think, what do you think is like a fair market value for Judkins right now? Like 2 firsts?
I made a few offers already, and they both got rejected. But it was,
What were they?
one was, keep in mind this is a guy that legit like is not competing for several years. So I went 2026 first, 2027 2, and Bayshall Toon was my last offer that got rejected. And I understand the Tootin part, but like I do think there are people out there that think that he could be a starter in the future for the Jags, and I thought he was one of them.
Yeah, let me see.
But I couldn't get him with the 2026 first and the 2027 second plus a player.
So I want to see, let's say, so I'm on dynastydaddy.com right now, and they scrape data for real trades that have happened. So right now I'm looking at dynasty leagues. Let's make this a 2 QB league.
That's probably what this is.
And we'll just see like what it comes back for. So we've got some really interesting like garbage in here. So we've got Quinshon for DJ Moore and Cam Ward. That was today. Today we had Quinshon, Kamani Vidal, Quentin Johnson, and a 2026 second.
Say that one again.
It was Quinshon for Kamani Vidal, Quentin Johnson, and a 2026 second.
See, that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. That was a 10-team, 2 QB start 9. That doesn't make sense to me either. Here's an interesting one. It was 2 QB, 12-teamer, Quinshon, 2027 first, 2028 first for Bijan. Brock Bowers for Quinshon straight up. We have Quinshon for Bucky Irving straight up.
Yikes.
Some of these are terrible. There's one that's an 8-teamer. This person got completely crushed. Quinshon Judkins for Jalen Warren straight up. Let me join that league real quick.
Jalen Warren, I mean, outside of the age difference, low-key has more value right now, in my opinion, just because of his passing game usage, and Judkins just doesn't have it at all.
And you're talking redraft?
I mean, just in the short term. So, like, even, like, short-term dynasty, because I just don't know. The Browns' offense is going to be bad again next year. But I'd still rather have Judkins. I just don't think it's as bad as it sounds if you're win now. Like, it just depends on what you are.
Yeah. So, okay. So, I mean, I would not want to give away, well, I probably would take the Judkins.
Away by 2027 first.
I'm struggling because I feel like I might, because I think Scatterboo, the injury thing really hurts me. That really scares me. Like if you look at Godwin, like he hasn't even been able to get back on the field after that. I know he's a lot older, but all of the potential ligament stuff for a guy that was already slow.
Barry reported that he only had ligament damage to one of them, and the full repair was successful.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard for me to comment on this though, because I just read his comment. He's pretty sure that it's a league that I'm in where I try to get Judkins as well.
Well, then tell him that yesterday's price is not today's price. So, I mean, if you look at like different things, I mean, it's fair value. I think that unless you're like a surefire competing, I would probably hold. Or if you're competing, I would make the deal for Judkins, but otherwise I'd probably hold. Because I agree with you. I just really like that 2027 class. I do like Judkins tremendously more than Scatterboo, but
he's like, this is the league I'm in, and Hurnley's like right in the middle. Like he's like borderline pushing for a playoff spot. Yeah. Which isn't any disrespect. I'm just looking at the standings right now, and he's literally like right there.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that could be something that pushes him up, you know.
The teams at the top, though, are pretty good, I'll be honest. Mine's up there.
I would honestly, sit on this after the bye. There's no point to make that trade this week. Like, see how your team does. If you're trending up, then you can kind of go with it. But like, there's no gain for a bye week fill-in. Like,
the key is that 2027 first, though, because I offered a 2027 second and a 2026 first, and I couldn't get it moved.
Yeah. All right, so what do you think about this one? Odunze for Justin Jefferson. You got to take Justin Jefferson here.
Yeah.
We talked about Rome last week. I mean, Caleb hasn't been playing all that great. He's getting less targets. They're taking more deep shots with him, and the run game has been really effective. I like his outlook long term, but I just don't have enough confidence in this Bears passing game right now.
It kind of reversed this week, though. Rome looked better this week. Obviously, we thought that the Ravens defense would allow that to happen. We said that last week too.
Yeah.
Jefferson just has so much. Like, his ceiling is just so high week to week. Like, you never know. He could win you your week by himself. Like, there's just few guys that are like that. It's Puka, Jefferson, Chase. Like, they can just win you.
Or Rasheed Rice.
Yeah. I mean, if you waited on him, like, awesome. Great for you.
Yeah.
I've been trying to compare him in so many leagues.
I'm not worried about the whole J.J. McCarthy thing in Jefferson. I think they'll figure it out. I think that you're going to have a similar, if not bigger, variance with Rome. So I'll take Justin Jefferson. This would have been a way harder trade to make for me, like after week 2 when Rome was balling first couple weeks. But now it's like I'd rather have Jettas.
Yeah.
All right. The trade questions are coming in hot. Keep them coming. We'll be here all day if we need to. So should I trade Nico, Jerry Jeudy, Jake Ferguson for Dallas Goedert, Justin Jefferson, Alec Pierce? All right, let's just make this simple. Jerry Jeudy and Alec Pierce do nothing for this trade. So let's just take them out.
Yeah.
Nico Collins and Jake Ferguson for Dallas Goedert and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I probably do not make this trade. I think Jake Ferguson's for real. I think that goose last week was just kind of a –
Dak just had a bad game last week.
Yeah. I'm not really worried about that. I
think Stroud come to life a little bit too.
Xavier Hutchinson actually looked good. Like,
yeah.
As good as Jalen Knoll. I mean, Jefferson's the best player in the deal. It's just, do we think that Nico's going to improve?
Well, so we think Justin Jefferson's better than Nico, but Ferguson and Goddard, like, how do you feel about those?
Like, Goddard's like tight end 4 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, you're expecting AJ Brown back. What's the deal with him? Because he missed last week.
They're on bye.
But like, you're expecting him back after the bye.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get traded. I actually 100% buy into the problems that they have there with him, but like, they're not going to trade him because they would have like an insane dead money cap hit. Like, it's like crazy. Like, it has to be like insanely bad for them to eat that. I think that he's going to stay and just be pissed off about it, and they don't give a crap about his feelings. You know what I mean? In that regard, like, he's not going to go home. He's going to play. I do think though that like Goddard's been I think that's real, but I think that Ferguson, I feel really good about Ferguson. I think Goddard's for real, but like, who knows? Like, he's also kind of been injury prone throughout his career. Like, I feel like he's missed games a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Ferguson had the tough year last year, but
Goddard's consistently missed games.
Yeah, the one thing that's really interesting about Goddard is that this is the first year that they've really targeted him at all in the red zone. Usually, like, he was like an in between the 20s kind of guy, and it was just hard because tight end, so much of like having a good tight end is somebody that scores. It's like if you look at Tucker Kraft, like Tucker Kraft doesn't get a ton of targets, but he has great yak and he always finds the end zone.
Yeah,
so it's like, you want to me, knowing that variance. Jake Ferguson, he's getting all of those targets. Yeah, it wasn't great last week, but Ferguson would definitely be the guy that I want out of that. I just feel like Goddard's been inflated a little bit by touchdown luck lately, and I don't know if that continues. Yeah. I think that I would keep Nico and Ferguson. I don't think I would make this trade. He's saying, though,
he wants to get rid of Nico, so
yeah,
it's
2 and 5. So let me take a look. So one of my favorite like trading resources in redraft, there's a guy, his name's Alex. He goes by Peaked in High School. He does these like trade value charts. And that's like a good way for me. I'm not a big keep trade cut person, and you can't really do that in redraft anyway. So let's take a peek over at what he's got for his week 9 chart. So he has.
I'm surprised Puka's a 2-5 team, even with him missing a couple.
Yeah, that is tough. So he has Nico Collins right in the range of, say, like a Garrett Wilson, Lad McConkey, George Pickens, Brees Hall, Judkins, DeAndre Swift. So I think if you are looking at the running back situation, if you're looking for like an immediate play, somebody that you could potentially look at would be like a Ashton Genty. Maybe somebody's getting itchy with Bucky Irving with him being out. I don't know. You think he'll play there on bye? You think he'll be back like the following week?
I don't think he's back the following week, but I think he's getting close. I'd like to see Juicy's entire team. Like I know Puka's been hurt, but like I feel like he was winning people matches.
I mean, we've got most of it. So I mean, Nico, Jerry Judy, Ferguson, Shakir, Quentin Johnson. He's got Puka.
I'd like to see like
the running backs.
Yeah.
He needs a running back. He's got Brees Hall, Ken Walker, Tyron Tracy, Dak at QB. So yeah, I mean, last week the Cowboys tank pretty much just boned your team. So that's unfortunate. If you're looking for running backs, you could do worse than Ashton Genty. I know that he's kind of been hit or miss, but I mean, from a volume perspective, you know he's going to be there. You got to hope that bye week can kind of course correct that offense a little bit, and you know they're going to be feeding him the rock. I think that the person that has Genty probably would be open to trading them for Nico.
Bam Knight's a great start this week. Oh wait, that's Tyler though. He's jumping in on this. What about like
DeAndre Swift in a piece?
So I don't like Swift. I actually think that's really becoming a committee.
Yeah.
Because we thought that would happen in the preseason because of what Ben Johnson did when he was in Detroit.
What about Jalen Warren in a piece?
I was gonna say Javonte Williams based on name notoriety.
Javonte Williams, I don't think the person that will. I don't think they'll trade Javonte for it. You can ask, but I think they're in different tiers right now.
They're in different tiers, but I'm wondering if maybe because it's Nico Collins, like the name notoriety.
Maybe it's worth a shot. I mean, I don't see that happening, but I mean, you gotta shoot your shot. And if it's like a hey, I'll give you. I don't know.
I like Jalen Warren in a piece. Like, what about a guy like? I mean, he has Ferguson. I don't know if you want to double dip with Cowboy pass catchers, but like I was thinking about maybe like a George Pickens in a piece.
George Pickens is right there, but yeah, I wouldn't want to have that much Cowboys on. You could also look at maybe. No, I think I like the Jalen Warren, and it's like depending on who they have with it.
What about Tet in a piece?
Tet, I also like it. I think Tet I would be fine with, or maybe like a Michael Pittman. Those would be some options. But if you're going running back, I think that you're probably going to tear down on name recognition. So I think like a Warren level player. I wouldn't want to go like Travis Etienne.
You have to get a guy that's producing really well that people don't recognize are producing really well.
What about Rico?
So
you'd have to get a sizable wide receiver piece back.
I think Rico's going to get traded. So like
I thought that they said he was going to be the lead back.
Yeah, so that's part of what I want to talk about. We talk about that as a headline, but this is what came up today while you were driving. Rico's the name that's being thrown out there as going to New England
because he has the 1-year deal.
Yes, and maybe they're putting him out there saying he's the guy to increase his value. I think that Rico might get moved. So like that's if he does get moved though, like, and he becomes the guy in New England, that's awesome. But like you can't bank on that when you're 2-5. I'm trying to look at some of these. Like I'm peeking at my schedule here and just trying to pick up guys that I think maybe
give me like, you know, be sick. Give me like Travis Hunter and Jalen Warren for Nico.
That's right. I think Jalen Warren's very underrated right now, and
I do too. But I think, yeah, I would see what the Jalen Warren owner has and just play up the Nico game.
What about Debo in a piece, considering McLaurin's going to be out?
Yeah, but Debo's also banged up.
Someone's got to catch the ball there, though.
Zach Ertz. I would rather focus around Jalen Warren than Debo. Like, you're just tearing down wide receiver to tear down. You need to focus on the running back and then see what you can wiggle from the other wide receiver.
What about Marvin a piece if we think Mark can bounce back?
No, but that's what I mean. Like, you need to get the best running back that you can and then see what other accessory wide receiver you get back.
What about Zay Flowers with Lamar coming back?
Zay Flowers is way overrated. I hate him. For fantasy anyway.
I think that he's a PPR merchant with Lamar. You don't think so? His at the beginning of the year, I thought he was doing pretty well with.
He had two good. He pulled a QJ.
But they also missed Lamar the last like 4 weeks.
Yeah, but he does this every year. He has like 1 or 2 good PPR games and doesn't do anything. But yeah, if it was me, I would say Jalen Warren and then another wide receiver and go from there. But I don't think that trading away Ferguson for Goddard is the move.
What if Juicy goes to that team real quick while we move on? Check who has Jalen Warren. Just tell us what the receivers look like on that squad. Yeah, DJ Moore was a guy I thought about saying.
I think DJ Moore is wasted unless he gets traded, and he's not going to get traded because that cap hit will be horrendous for them.
I just don't see them ignoring him all year. But like, see if you can do Jalen Warren and DJ Moore.
Well, that's what he has. He said the guy with Warren has DJ Moore, Waddle, and Jamar on his bench. He has only Ricky Pearsall. So I would say
that's tough because Ricky Pearsall's injury is brutal right now. Like no one's even talking about him as someone who might come back.
You could do like,
I think it's Warren and hope that DJ Moore bounces back kind of thing.
I would go Warren and Waddle would be my dream.
I don't think Waddle gets moved.
You could try though.
He's the last few weeks he's been pretty good.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you start with Waddle, you accept with Moore.
That makes sense.
Right? Don't lead with the final offer.
Right.
Say, hey, Nico Collins, look at what Xavier Hutchinson did last week. I'll do Waddle and Warren for Nico. And then if he says no, then you say, all right, DJ Moore and Waddle. And then if it's not, then you just got to keep moving. But
Can you throw a running back to try to sweeten it to get the Waddle deal? Like,
I don't think he has enough running backs as it is. His running backs right now are only Hall, Walker, and Tyrone Tracy.
And Hall's on bye this week.
Right. All right. So, yeah, I think that's the way that you're going to want to run. Hit us up if that doesn't come through. Find me on Twitter, and we can chat it out. All right, so let's transition to our last segment of the day, Drew, our OnlyFantasy subscriptions of the week. In this segment, we are going to look at who are the players that we're feeling really excited about. Before we can jump into the present, we have to take a look and acknowledge our past. Last week, pretty solid for us. So Drew had Breece Hall, who must not be named because he's so good, and Joe just doesn't know how to save things sometimes. I'm doing my best out here. Breece Hall, 18 carries, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also threw a touchdown pass, was not targeted in the receiving room, but he finishes as RB4. I was surprised by that too. I had DK Metcalf. He had 5 receptions for 55 yards and a touchdown, which wasn't very much, but he was somehow wide receiver 12 last week. Like all the buys. Yeah, all the buys will take it. So the one thing that makes me sad about that, he had the monster game in his fingertips. If he would have caught that other pass,
he would have been gone.
Would have been gone. But, we'll live with it. So, Drew, it's week 9. We're already halfway through the football season, which is crazy. You've been pretty good at this year. Let's keep the momentum. Who's your OnlyFantasy subscription for week 9?
Yeah, I don't feel the best about this one. I'm just kind of going off the matchup and what I think I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to miss this game with his sprained MCL. That's the injury that I've kind of been holding out on. So I've been going with Kareem Hunt. The Chiefs haven't been very efficient in the run game. They haven't been. Like it's been kind of ugly, split between Kareem Hunt and Pacheco. Kareem Hunt's getting on the goal line, which is a plus. But they're running the ball a ton. I mean, they're still averaging 28 rushing attempts per game. So I think if Pacheco misses this game, you could see Kareem Hunt pushing 20 carries this week. And against the Bills, who've given up 29.3 fantasy points to running backs over the last 3 weeks, and that includes a complete dud last week where there was nothing happening on the ground against them last week. They just smoked. Who did they play last week again? Why am I blanking?
The Chiefs last week.
No, the Bills.
Oh, the Bills last week. The Bills last week, weren't they on? They played Carolina last week.
Yeah, Carolina was just an absolute dud. I mean, Chuba Hubbard got in the end zone, but Dowdle and him were both very average. I think they got over 100 yards combined, but it wasn't really like a big output from them. But the Falcons 2 weeks ago rushed for over 200 yards and 2 TDs against them. The Saints ran the ball well against them, over 150 and a touchdown. They can be had on the ground. And the Chiefs and the Bills always play fun, high-scoring games. I expect
Tony Romo and Chris Collinsworth have 3 pair of underwear in the studio. It's gonna be
Tony's just gonna be right back. He's gonna do the Collinsworth, change his boxers, come flying right back in. Yeah.
Just all right, man, chill out.
Here's a guy.
The Tony Romo fall off needs to be studied. He was so good this rookie commentating year, and now it's painful for me to listen to him.
I tweeted 2 weeks ago that he says a joke and it never lands, so he explains it for 2 minutes after, and it's the most agonizing thing.
Yeah, he's clap, please.
But yeah, I mean, 28 carries, that's what they're averaging in the run game. I think Kareem Hunt's going to get a massive blow because I do think that Isaiah Pacheco misses this week, but this whole thing hinders on that. If he doesn't miss this week, I
think he's going to miss multiple weeks. I could see him being out 2 to 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting as well. So I like the matchup. I thought about Rashard Smith because I think it's going to be high scoring, but ultimately I still think Kareem Hunt's going to get I think he gets 20 carries, gets the goal line work, and he's successful in short yardage. I think that if he gets the opportunity, gets in the end zone this week. He got in the end zone last week. You've seen it. The dude was hurt last week too, and not expected to play, and he looked fine.
Yeah, and he was already practicing today, so he should be fine.
Yeah, so I feel good about him if Pacheco misses, which I expect to, but it could completely blow up in my face if Pacheco plays, which is kind of similar to what I was dealing with last week with Breece Hall. Chad cooked me in the chat saying Isaiah Davis is going to be the guy, which we were both right. Isaiah Davis also had a pretty solid game. I think he was
he was in the teens.
Yeah, he was a high RB too, so it worked out for both of us. But
yeah,
Breece Hall destroyed. I'm hoping Kareem Hunt gets the backfield to himself this week and pays off.
I like it. All right, yeah, so for me, this is primarily matchup driven and just with the Scadaboo injury. I'm rolling with Wan'Dale Robinson. He's had 7 or more targets in 3 of the last 4 games. Struggled a little bit against Philadelphia, but that Philadelphia team was very motivated last week because they lost that first game. You could feel that they were really hungry to make that happen and kind of show hey, we can turn it on when we want to, and they did. I do think that Wan'Dale bounces back. He has been kind of the primary target for Jackson Dart. I think they rekindle that connection. It's going to be a lot of cover 3 this week against San Francisco, so I think they're going to have to utilize him in the slot and just kind of get these options through the flat, basically, and just kind of this short game. It can play really well into Wan'Dale's PPR strength. So see what we can do there. And I like the matchup. I feel like they've been pretty porous in the last couple of weeks. They are giving up 25.8 points in standard, so that's just a lot of yards right there, but then it jumps up to 38.5 points per game to to wide receivers in the last 3 weeks.
I like it.
Cool. All right, so where can you find us? This is going to be it for the show, so appreciate all y'all. You can find us on Twitch. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube at Around the 412. You can find us on X at the AT412FF show, and you can find our personal handles at JOEFRK and at Drew Hannis. This wraps up week 8. Drew, any closing thoughts for the people?
Not a whole lot. I'm excited to be in the Berg this weekend for Steelers Colts. If anybody is going to be around, give me a shout on X. Meet up at some tailgates.
It's gonna be a fun weekend. Hopefully the Steelers show up and don't make my 4-hour drive out there miserable on the way back.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be a real interesting one for sure. Everybody, we hope you have a wonderful Halloween. I hope all of your candy has drugs in it and that you enjoy them to the fullest. Be safe, make good choices, give out some full-size candy bars to the kids, and we will be here next week, week 10 primer, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. This has been the Around the 412 Fantasy Football Show. I'm Joe Frick. That's Drew Hannis. Peace out.